The Racist History of Each State, Part 3, Alabama Edition. When we look at the legacy of racism in the South and go back to the 17, 18, and 1900s, Alabama is definitely up there, and the numbers do not lie. In the mid-1800s, there were 3 southern states that were hotbeds for the slave trade: New Orleans, Louisiana, Natchez, Mississippi, and Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama might sound familiar right now because that's where the altercation that everyone's talking about took place this past weekend. It took place at the 200 block of Coosa Street, near Riverfront Park, and most specifically near the Alabama River. Now, that dock where the altercation took place near the Alabama River is where the slave trade in Montgomery, Alabama took place in the 19th century. Between the 1840s and the 1860s, Montgomery, Alabama became the hotbed for the slave trade in the South. You can see the numbers exponentially moving upwards between 1820 and 1860. After 1840, the enslaved population in Montgomery, Alabama increased by 80%. And this was due to an influx in the slave trade, and enslavers were actually moving to Montgomery, Alabama because it was proving to be more profitable for them. And the legacy of racism did not stop in Alabama after the Civil War. Between the end of Reconstruction in 1877 and the start of the Civil Rights Movement, over 300 black people were lynched in Alabama. And the number is probably a lot higher than that. So for those black people to have gotten justice in the way that they did in Montgomery, Alabama is poetic.
Today we are visiting the Cahaba Cemetery in Cahaba, Alabama. When visiting, you will notice nearly every monument and gravesite is damaged. One evening in June 1960, a local man heard a loud commotion coming from the cemetery. When the man went to investigate, a car came barreling out the cemetery, nearly striking him, and sped off into the night. He discovered that the fleeing car contained vandals who had destroyed nearly every headstone using sledgehammers. The heartless culprits were never caught, and the headstones remained in pieces for 59 years. Finally, in 2019, the Alabama Historical Commission received funding and was able to repair many of the monuments. So much more still needs to be done. May the souls who rest here always sleep in peace.